Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on 0 Days by Ruth Ware. In 0 Days by Ruth Ware, Jacintha Cross arrives home to find her husband murdered, and the police's #1 suspect? Her. Jack finds herself on the run as she tries to figure out who killed her husband. You guys, I normally am a huge fan of Ruth Ware. Yes, in the past, some of her books have been, up and down for me. And yeah, unfortunately, this is one of her books that's a down one for me, unfortunately. It's not that this book is necessarily badly written. I just think there's a lot about this book that was perhaps not 100% neatly executed. I think some of the pacing was a little weird with this book. The pacing was kind of slow, a little plodding, a little monotonous. Yeah, I just found some of the things kind of going on in this book to be uninteresting, unfortunately. I mean, for crying out loud, this is a book about a woman who she comes home one night, like late one night. Her husband, his throat has been slit. He's been murdered. And the police, they start kind of looking into the main character. Her name is Jacintha, but she goes by Jack. They start looking into Jack's kind of alibi and kind of her movements that night, and things just don't seem to be lining up. And so, of course, they start to suspect her that she murdered her husband. So Jack, for this entire book, she goes on the run, and she's constantly running away from the police and hiding out in places and hopping on buses or on taxis or whatever, walking from place to place. So you would think, a woman on the run from the police because she's being blamed for the murder of her husband, you would think that would be pretty thrilling and exciting. But alas, it's kind of not, the way it's kind of done in this book. And for another thing, this book is not very long, you guys, but it feels long. And for a book that's a murder mystery, that's not a good thing either. So as a result of this book feeling so slow and whatnot, because the character of Jack, because she is constantly kind of on the move, and she's like on buses or trains or whatever, or she'll kind of hole up in some place for the night. For some reason, that just made this plot feel oddly stagnant, like it wasn't moving, even though she herself, the character, even though the character is moving, constantly moving. For some reason, just the plot itself is not moving, weirdly enough. Like, it just feels like nothing gets accomplished. It just feels like the same bits of information are just going back in circles, like the same conversations are going back around in circles. Like, just, it feels like nothing, weirdly enough, is getting accomplished in this book, even though, once again, our main character is constantly on the move, but it just still feels so very stagnant. Now, an aspect of this book that I did really like and appreciate, I'll bring this up really quickly, our character Jack and her husband. Jack is a pen tester, and a pen tester is basically someone who, for a living, they hack into systems professionally. They are hired by companies to kind of hack their way into programs or kind of infiltrate their way into a building and bypass security systems. That is actually Jack's job, to infiltrate programs and buildings and then tell the company, hey, this is what you can improve on, or maybe you're already good to go with your security and whatnot. So I like that aspect of Jack's character, her being a pen tester, because then while she is on the run, she knows how to, like, avoid security cameras. She knows where to look for security cameras or where a guard might be. She's really good with human behavior and human interaction, so she can kind of manipulate her way kind of through a situation to kind of help her out and give her advantages while she's kind of on the run from the police and whatnot. So I did like that aspect of her character and how that worked into the narrative and how she was kind of dealing with certain situations and whatnot. And then the one last frustrating thing, I wanted to bring this up really quickly. The character list of this book is just so small. There are just a very minimal amount of characters in this book. So unfortunately, when you do get to kind of like the reveal stuff at the end of this book, like what's going on, like there's nothing shocking. Like who, you know, the person behind everything, it's nothing shocking or surprising because your character suspect list is so incredibly minimal. So that's another aspect of this book that's a little bit frustrating, is just the small cast list, that it makes it not very thrilling or exciting, because you, the reader, it's like, it's kind of like, well, it's obvious who's behind everything, you know. So yeah, this book, you guys, overall, this is definitely one of my worst experiences with a Ruth Ware book. Weirdly enough, I'm genuinely shocked about that, because I tend to really highly enjoy Ruth Ware. So I'm really devastated that this is just a negative book for me. I mean, hopefully her next book will be better, you know. But yeah, I was really looking forward to this, and yeah, it was definitely a disappointment, unfortunately. So, I mean, I don't know how to recommend this book, because, I mean, if you're a fan of Ruth Ware like I am, and you've been checking out her books, then, I mean, yeah, it don't hurt to check out this book. I mean, there's plenty of reviews on Goodreads, people who like this book, you know. But yeah, for me, unfortunately, just not one of her best, alas. So you guys, that is it for my thoughts and feelings on 0 Days by Ruth Ware. In the comments below, have you guys read this book? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Just let me know your thoughts down below. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye, guys.